8 seconds. That was all it required. 8 seconds to demonstrate everything. 8 seconds to quiet a skeptic. 8 seconds to shift 500 minds. 8 seconds that turned into legend. This is the account of that day. Bruce Lee was instructing 500 students when an arrogant teacher confronted him, and 8 seconds later, everything changed forever. Long Beach, California, August 2nd, 1967. The Long Beach International Karate Championships, the largest martial arts gathering in America. 5,000 spectators filled the arena. Martial artists from every discipline were present. Karate, judo, taekwondo, kung fu, boxing, wrestling. Everyone arrived to watch, to learn, to compete, and Bruce Lee was there to demonstrate, to instruct, to show what authentic martial arts looked like. Bruce Lee, age 26, already well known within the martial arts community, already controversial, already revolutionary. He had challenged traditional systems, created his own approach, Jeet Kune Do, a philosophy of intercepting fist that rejected rigid styles and embraced efficiency, simplicity, and directness. Traditional masters resented it. They called him a rebel, called him disrespectful, called him fake, called him a Hollywood performer. Bruce did not concern himself with that. He trusted his understanding. Time would confirm it. That afternoon, Bruce was scheduled for a special demonstration. Not a competition. Not a performance. An educational seminar. He would teach, demonstrate techniques, explain philosophy, and share understanding. Arena managers assigned him the main stage, the 2 p.m. slot, prime time. They expected perhaps 100 attendees. Members of the martial arts community, a few students interested in learning. Nothing extraordinary. Just a standard instructional session, but word traveled quickly through the venue. Bruce Lee teaching today to a mindset. Excitement spread. Real excitement. Information moved through the crowd like wildfire. Instructors informed students. Students told friends. Everyone wanted to attend. By 1:30 p.m., the main arena was filling. By 1:45, it was full. By 2 p.m., more than 500 students were seated on the floor, filling chairs, standing in aisles, pressed against walls, spilling into corridors. Security worried about fire regulations, but no one left. Everyone wanted to see Bruce Lee. Everyone wanted to learn from Bruce Lee. The man who fought Wong Jackman. The man who trained champions. The man who transformed martial arts. This was an opportunity. A rare opportunity. 500 students, all eager, all respectful, all prepared to learn. Bruce walked onto the stage. His appearance was simple. Black training pants. No shirt, no shoes, just his body. Lean, defined. 140 pounds of pure efficiency. Not bulky. Not massive. Perfectly conditioned. Every muscle visible. Every movement purposeful like a coiled spring prepared to release. He bowed to the audience. The audience bowed back. Respect offered. Respect returned. Bruce smiled calmly. He thanked everyone for coming. He explained that he would not share techniques but principles. Principles that function everywhere, against anyone, in any situation. Principles that rise above style. He began teaching. He demonstrated the 1-inch punch. A volunteer was selected from the audience. A large man, 200 pounds. Muscular. Confident. Bruce positioned him with a hand on his chest, 1 inch away. He explained mechanics, hip rotation, whole body power, focused energy. Then he struck. From 1 inch, the volunteer flew backward 4 feet, landed on padding, stunned. The crowd gasped. Some suspected a trick. Bruce explained. Not magic. Physics. Body mechanics. Anyone could learn it with proper training, understanding, and dedication. He then demonstrated speed. He asked the volunteer to punch him. Full power. Any technique. The volunteer threw a right cross. Bruce's hand moved. He caught the fist midair before it reached him. The volunteer tried again. Left hook. Caught. Right uppercut. Caught. Right uppercut. Caught. Every punch intercepted before landing. The volunteer grew exhausted. Bruce barely breathed. Bruce explained that speed was not about moving fast, it was about seeing early, anticipating, reading body language, understanding telegraphing, responding efficiently. Economy of motion. 500 students were transfixed, taking notes, watching closely, some filming with cameras, recording history. Bruce continued. He showed trapping techniques, demonstrated chi sao, explained centerline theory, discussed economy of motion, using an opponent's force. Water philosophy. Be water, my friend. Water adapts. It flows around obstacles. It crashes when necessary. It yields when required. That is real martial arts. That is evolution. 45 minutes into the demonstration, everything was proceeding smoothly. Students were engaged, learning, understanding. Bruce felt aligned, sharing knowledge, living his philosophy through teaching. Then it happened. An interruption. A loud voice from the back. "Excuse me." Everyone turned. A man stood up. He walked down the aisle toward the stage. Confident stride, aggressive posture, chest forward, chin raised. All eyes followed him. Who was he? What did he want? The man reached the stage, climbed up without invitation, stood facing Bruce. Silence filled the arena. Tension rose. It was palpable. Bruce looked at him calmly, centered. No aggression, only awareness. "Yes," Bruce said. "Can I help you?" The man was a teacher, a karate instructor, traditional Shotokan style. 5th degree black belt, 20 years of practice, owner of 3 dojos, 200 students, successful, respected, and arrogant. He believed traditional karate was the only authentic martial art. Everything else was inferior, especially Bruce Lee's mixed-style philosophy. This demonstration offended him. It challenged his worldview and identity. He spoke loudly, addressing Bruce, addressing the crowd, making a statement. "Mr. Lee, I have watched your demonstration. Very impressive, very entertaining. But I have a concern. You show techniques, but do they work in a real fight? Against a real martial artist? Against a trained opponent? Not cooperative volunteers. Real resistance, real combat." Bruce remained calm. He recognized this type. He had faced challengers before. Skeptics, traditionalists defending territory, ego, identity. "Yes," Bruce replied. "They work. I have tested them against many opponents and many styles. That is how they were developed, through real experience." The karate teacher shook his head dismissively. Testing against students is not the same as fighting a real master. "I propose a demonstration, a real demonstration. You versus me. Full contact sparring. Show these 500 students if your techniques truly work. If you are as skilled as your reputation suggests. What do you say? Unless you are afraid." Murmurs spread through the crowd. This was a challenge, a public challenge. 500 witnesses. Bruce could not decline without losing face. Accepting carried risk. What if he lost? What if something went wrong? Reputation damaged. Philosophy questioned. Everything he had built challenged here. Now, in front of everyone, in front of history. Bruce looked at the challenger. He saw arrogance, ego, rigidity, an unbending mindset. But he also saw opportunity. A perfect demonstration. A chance to show the difference between traditional and evolved. Between rigidity and flow. Between ego and efficiency. Between style and no style. Bruce nodded slowly. "Okay, we spar." But understand this, I will not intentionally hurt you. I will demonstrate control, technique, the difference between fighting and combat. The karate teacher laughed mockingly. Do not worry about hurting me. Worry about yourself. I have fought full contact for 20 years. I will not go easy. I will not hold back. He removed his shirt, assumed a traditional karate stance, deep, rooted, fists chambered at the hips, focused. 20 years of conditioning in that posture. Bruce remained relaxed, hands at his sides, weight centered, observing, reading, already processing, already ahead. Arena's staff cleared space, created a safe zone, placed padding. 500 students leaned forward, unbelieving. Live demonstration. Real sparring. Bruce Lee versus a traditional master. History unfolding. Cameras began recording. Someone shouted, "Is there a referee?" Bruce shook his head. "No need. This will be brief." The karate teacher bristled. Overconfident. Arrogant. "We will see about brief. Ready?" he asked. Bruce nodded. Ready. The teacher assumed his stance. Bruce stood naturally. The teacher circled, searching for an opening. Bruce did not move. He watched, tracked, read tension, recognized patterns, saw intent before action. The teacher launched a testing front kick to gauge distance. Bruce sidestepped. Minimal movement. The teacher followed with a reverse punch. Bruce was no longer there. He moved his head inches. The fist passed close, missing. The teacher threw a combination. Jab. Cross. Hook. Bruce slipped all three. No blocks, just movement. Efficiency. Economy. Water flowing. The teacher grew frustrated. Nothing landed. Bruce was not even blocking. Just moving. Making 20 years of training appear irrelevant. The teacher committed fully. He launched his strongest technique. A mawashi jeri, a high roundhouse kick aimed at the head. A powerful kick, one that had knocked out many opponents. 20 years of training behind it, perfect form. Traditional mastery condensed into one strike. Pride. Identity. Everything. Bruce saw it clearly. The telegraph was obvious. Hip rotation. Weight shift. Eye focus. Shoulder tension. Weight shift. Eye focus. Shoulder tension. All revealed it. Bruce waited. Until the final moment. Then he moved. One step. Inside the kick. Closing distance. Invading space. The kick passed over Bruce's head. The teacher lost balance mid-technique. Vulnerable. Exposed. Bruce's hand shot forward. Lightning fast. It stopped 1 inch from the teacher's throat. 1 inch. He could have struck, crushed the windpipe, ended the fight, ended the challenge, ended consciousness, ended life. He did not. He held his hand there. 1 inch away. Proving the point. Demonstrating control. Showing philosophy. Everyone saw it. All 500 students witnessed it. Bruce could have finished it with one strike. Instead, he chose restraint. He chose teaching. He chose demonstration over destruction. That was the difference. That was evolution. That was Jeet Kune Do. That was Bruce Lee. 8 seconds. From the teacher's first committed attack to Bruce's hand at his throat. 8 seconds total. Later, people timed it. Reviewed recordings. Counted frames. 8 seconds. That was all it took. 8 seconds to change everything. Bruce withdrew his hand. Stepped back. Bowed respectfully. "Thank you for the demonstration. You helped me show the students an important principle. Fighting is not about destroying your opponent. It is about control. Efficiency. Ending conflict with the minimum necessary force. You are a skilled martial artist. 20 years of training is evident. But training must evolve. It must adapt. It must release rigid form and embrace what works. That is Jeet Kune Do. That is real martial arts. The karate teacher stood stunned, embarrassed, humbled before 500 people. His challenge, ego, and arrogance deflated in 8 seconds. He had delivered his best technique. 20 years of effort, and Bruce rendered it obsolete without striking back. Only positioning, timing, control, being water. The teacher bowed, deeply, deeper than before. The deepest bow of his life. I apologize, I was arrogant. I understand now. You have shown me. Thank you for the lesson. For not hurting me, for teaching through action. Bruce bowed in return. No apology is necessary. You tested me honestly. I respect that. You made me better. You made the demonstration better. The students learned more because of you. Thank you. The crowd erupted. 500 students applauded, a standing ovation, not for victory, not for dominance, for control, for teaching, for philosophy made visible. Bruce had shown everything he had explained. Efficiency, economy, evolution. He demonstrated that traditional techniques, though beautiful, could be surpassed by timing, positioning, understanding, and release from rigid form. Afterward, many students approached the karate teacher and offered respect. That took courage. Challenging Bruce Lee required courage. Accepting the lesson required more. The teacher nodded. I learned more in those 8 seconds than in the last 8 years. My ego prevented learning. Today, ego died. Learning began. Bruce continued teaching for another hour, answered questions, demonstrated principles. But everyone remembered those 8 seconds. 8 seconds that proved everything. 8 seconds that revealed the difference between traditional and evolved. 8 seconds that changed 500 minds, including the challengers. The most important one. Years later, that karate teacher became Bruce's student. He closed his traditional dojos, opened a Jeet Kune Do school, taught Bruce's philosophy. He told the story often. I challenged Bruce Lee in front of 500 people. 8 seconds later, I realized everything I knew was incomplete. Not wrong, incomplete. Bruce showed me there was more, a better way, a more efficient way. That day changed my life, changed my teaching, changed everything. The story spread. Did you hear? A teacher challenged Bruce Lee at Long Beach. 500 students watching. 8 seconds later, the teacher became a student. Details shifted over time. Some said 5 seconds, some said 10. Some said it was a punch, not a kick. But the core remained. Bruce Lee was challenged. Bruce Lee demonstrated truth. Bruce Lee changed minds through action, through control, through demonstration, without ego, without violence. Pure technique, pure philosophy, pure Jeet Kune Do. That is what made Bruce Lee different. It was never about winning, never about domination, never about proving others wrong. It was about revealing a better way, teaching through action, demonstrating through restraint. 8 seconds accomplished what hours of explanation could not. Sometimes action speaks louder than words. Sometimes control reveals more than destruction. Sometimes 8 seconds alters everything forever. Long Beach, 1967. 500 students, 1 teacher's challenge. 8 seconds of truth, everything changed. That is Bruce Lee's legacy. Not the fights he won, but the minds he transformed, the students he inspired, the philosophy he spread. 8 seconds at a moment in time that never faded.